So guys, remember I was saying the quad bike was in a right mess? It was. It's not anymore, because basically I've kind of gone round and sorted everything out. The caliper at the back, this is a new one, but before it had basically fallen off and all the bits and pieces had just fallen off on a ride, and the first I kind of knew about it was this strange smell coming from the back. Basically I got a new caliper and a new brake lever, but unfortunately I couldn't put the whole brake system on as one because I ordered it as a whole thing. That's the only way I could find it, just caliper, all bled, nicely done with the brake lever as well, but of course you can't actually fit the lever through all the small holes in the rest of the bike, so I had to bleed it off, which is the first time I've done that. So I just kind of googled it and just went through it step by step and sorted it out, and it seems to be working fine. I had to change this lever over as well because I hit something on another ride and it just snapped that off completely, so I was operating with like about 2 inches of brake levers. It was a bit stupid, but I sorted that out. I stuck a little washer in there as well to stop it moving, because it was moving about quite a bit. And then the other major palaver that I had was this battery gauge. In here before I had like a really nice Victron Energy battery meter. You've probably seen it in the other videos, and it shows you like state of charge, it shows you you know, how much percentage of the battery you've got left, your current, all really cool kind of useful stuff. That just stopped working as soon as I took it out of the bike. It just stopped working, so I think it's something to do with a connection or something was just not right with it, and it just basically gave up on that last minute. So I've had to swap over to this one just so that I haven't got an empty hole, and this is just a really basic you know, LED sort of kind of state of charge graph, but it's really designed for lead acid batteries, so it doesn't really work that well with lithium batteries. So that's that. Got that wired up, and then the biggest mission to do, really, it's not really a mission, but it was just a pain, was to change over the battery. I had a battery box in here which took up this whole thing, but it was all nicely done. All the LiPo batteries were all fixed inside, and it, you know, it was all kind of had balancing system in there and everything else. It was just really kind of properly done. But so what I've swapped over to is this battery here, which is a 13S 18650 pack. It's actually designed for like an electric bike, and I was using it on the original bike. This has been sitting there for a while, just not really doing anything, so I've decided to put it in here. Originally this quad bike, it came with sealed lead acid batteries, and there was 4 of them in total, and they were done in like a 4S setup, so 48 volts. But of course, because of how bad lead acid batteries are, you know, under load, you didn't see 48 volts ever really. It was always a bit lower than that. So that's why I kind of upgraded all the batteries, and in the end of it I ended up with 18S on this thing, and it was pretty cool, because it was doing, it's not really that quick, probably about 18 miles an hour or something like that, but the torque was just insane. It's mainly due to the sort of this gearing, the way it's set up. This motor is actually, I think, like it's like something from like a tricycle or something like that. I've seen these before, but it's a pretty big old motor, but it's got sort of a planetary gearbox in there as well on the end, so you've got a gear ratio going that way, and then you've got obviously kind of like a reduction on here as well. And I've been trying to find another sprocket here so that I can actually you know, take a bit of torque away and give it a bit more top speed, because it's got bags and bags of torque. It doesn't need half as much torque as it pushes over trees, which is pretty cool for a quad bike. Yeah, and other than that, I've just really kind of just gone round here and just kind of smartened it up a bit. But basically I want to be able to use this for the new house, because there's quite a bit of land around there, and there's lots of kind of off-road areas as well where I can use this. But so that should be good. I'm using this charger as well, just the kind of small charger that I've got, which is actually for this battery, and I was using it on the bike to sort of slow charge it, but you know, it's only a 54.6 volt 4 amp charger. It's quite small for that, and it charges, obviously, you know, you never run the battery down, so it charges it in like a couple of hours, something like that. And it's just got one of these XLR things on the bottom. So one of the things obviously I'm going to have to be aware of on this is that, you know, when it gets wet, if it gets wet, or not to get it wet basically, because it could cause problems in there, I think. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, use this for the summer, and then maybe kind of waterproof this up a little bit or something like that, but this at least just gets it going. So now to turn it on, you just got to use this key down the bottom. So you click that turns the battery on, and you see the battery gauge comes to life. I think this is like a sort of time elapsed or something like that of the battery, but you can see that there, just basically got like a little green light showing it's fully charged. And on here I've got a key up here, and this thing's actually got its own battery in it, so it kind of you know, is always alive. That is the motor temperature, so 29 degrees. It's a pretty warm day today. And then I've got ancillary voltage, which I could actually change that to the main voltage, because the maximum this will accept is about 60 volts. So before I changed over, I connected this display voltage up to the regulator, because obviously it was running like 74 volts, so it wouldn't like that. So now when you turn the quad bike on, you get your 12 volt ancillary voltage, which is basically powering your lights. This thing's got full lights. It's pretty crazy, like LED lights. It's got full LED lights on there, and then you've got like a rear light, which is actually a brake light as well. So it's pretty well equipped, this thing really. It's got a little horn as well, which is wired up. Actually, never noticed that. It's actually wired up to like the kill switch. But anyway, it works. So let's take it for a little spin then. It doesn't feel as fast as it did before, but it's still not bad. It actually feels a little bit better on the throttle as well. It's nice having brakes again. This gives you an idea of the power. Look, it's like no issue at all. So from a complete standstill, doesn't even really affect it at all. This thing pulls about 30 amps. The speed control is limited to 30 amps. You can't program it. It's basically set by like a shunt inside. It's a lot of fun around things like this. Be good for someone quite young. But actually, as a little transportation device, it's actually pretty good, like around fields and stuff. I just love like things like this that are possible. Topping out about 12 mile an hour, so it's not very fast, but surprisingly it feels pretty agile. You get up on 2 wheels, see? Another 2 wheels. What do you reckon to that then, guys? It's pretty cool. I love that thing. I know it's like only a small kind of quad bike, but it's just really, really cool. It was like one of the first kind of projects that I did. Well, I did it was the first. I actually did that before the e-bikes, which is weird because it's a lot easier to do an e-bike than it is something like that. But I don't know. It was actually electric anyway, so I did actually get hold of one of these quad bikes, you know, with the main purpose to kind of modify it and mess around with it, because I knew that it would come with like lead acid batteries and it wouldn't be too great. But yeah, as soon as you start going lithium with these things, it just changes the ball game completely. So I'm just at the office. I came down here to kind of sort some stuff out to take over to the new house, because we're going to have a new office there, which is really, really cool. And there's something else as well, something else quite exciting. So I'm going to be leaving this office, but I'm not too worried because it's going to be better in the new place and a lot easier to kind of access and stuff like that. But anyway, me and Sarah both came down here today. She filmed a video this morning for her channel, and unfortunately when she got down here to edit it, she found that basically half of her video was missing from the SD card, and it's just like, no. And it just looked, the lighting and everything was just really, really good as well. So I felt so sorry for her, because it was just like, oh. And I said to her, look, I'm going to set my camera up now and we'll just film it like right now, like, and just get it done. But she kind of lost momentum with it and just said, no, I'm just gonna go back home and just gonna go and read my book. So I just feel really bad for her. Right, I'm just gonna go over to the dev corner. You're gonna come with me. I'm gonna show you something. So this is the little development station which I use to kind of test mini PCs and some of the stuff that's kind of going on at the moment. And this on test at the moment, we've got a V5 Rico Magic mini PC. Now this is the Linux version, so this is like a little Linux mini PC. I mean, it's literally so small. See a little SD card slot there, USB port there. There's a USB port on the other side, and also an Ethernet connector there. So that's a gigabit Ethernet connector, and then you've got like a power supply in and HDMI out. And basically what we're looking at on this screen here is Ubuntu or Xubuntu, which is basically a Linux distribution. So a full Linux computer, a bit like a Raspberry Pi, but this thing is probably twice, if not 3 times more powerful, has more RAM, I think, than the latest version, and it has a lot more storage. This actually has built-in storage inside it, so it's got 16 gigabyte of storage actually on the device. And it all comes in a box. There's no need to like assemble anything or start writing SD cards. You can get this basically with Linux pre-installed, order it from the website, and yeah, it just comes basically as a Linux computer. So the new firmware that we've kind of been working on is this Xubuntu 16, so 16.04 to be exact. And then you've got basically anything you can do on a Linux computer, you can do on this. I've featured these before, but I just thought it'd be interesting for those of you that don't really kind of know a background to some of the stuff we do at Cloudstow. So yeah, and just running it off one of these little wireless keyboards. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Our website's cloudstow.com. The link's in the description. It's always in the description. It's basically like a web store where you can kind of order these Linux computers. So yeah, they're really useful for things like if you want to just deploy a quick server like a web server, or you want to make a signage board or something like that, where you want to show information on a screen, like for advertising, stuff like that. They're really popular with that kind of application at the moment. And because they also run Android as well, you can, basically any app that you can get on Android, you can actually have it beamed to a full screen. Well, not actually beamed, it's actually connected directly to that screen. So you can do lots of stuff with that. And we retail these to all sorts of places, mainly business customers who want multiple devices. So yeah, if you're interested in anything like that, give us a shout. I haven't given you an update on the e-bike, like the MSVA test thing. Basically the test is all basically booked. Well, it's paid for. All I've got to do is just basically book the date. I wasn't really sure when to actually do it, because obviously we're moving and we had the holiday going on. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that anyway. There's only a few little bits and pieces to do. It's basically like just things like a brake lead or something like that needs sorting out. Try and cheer Sarah up a little bit, do the good husband thing. It's a lot later now. Nearly 20 past 11. So I'm going to sign out today's video now and catch you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it.